Again, I'm Pat Salmon from Honeywell, and
Bob Breslin, project manager for Honeywell.
we're here this morning to discuss the positive results of our project. Jamie has, this is your measurement and verification report we provide annually, and I boiled it down and I just made a couple smaller pages, the meat and potatoes of it, if you will. And it's all good news.
I think I emailed that out.
I don't think so.
And said that he'd be in here then to do the.
When I saw his name on the agenda, I was surprised, Jamie, so. Did you have one?
Yes, I
Is this the first time you heard
No,
about it?
I got mine.
Is this different?
That's just a couple pages. You have the full, and I have a copy of the full.
Okay.
Okay? So, to your point, Commissioner, from March 17th to February of this year is what this reflects. And it's basically a report card on the performance of our energy saving program with the county.
That was this is phase 2 now we're talking
Phase
about.
2, only
Last
phase
one
2,
we did,
correct.
yeah.
Only phase 2. So what you'll, can I have one back, Jane, please?
Yeah.
Because you have the abbreviated copies and I don't. Thank you very much. Excuse me there. If you go to the page 1.1, which again, this is all what's in here. I just took out the highlights, if you will. This has a lot more of the detail in it. The good news is your cumulative savings to date, the guarantee was $1.2 million for conversation, and we've saved $1.4 million. So you're about 122% of the savings. And then on the, again, the report I gave you there on page 1.2, and again, it's the data that's contained in the big report, just to refresh you on what was done and where it was done. And then this also reflects the removal of Cedar Haven. Cedar Haven is taken out of here, and you can see that in detail in this section, where everything was noted for the Cedar Haven removal. And then if you go to page 2.1, that specifically speaks to year 6 we're in right now. The results for year 6 were 113%, which fold into the total 122. And then the page right below that will show you exactly where that 122 of savings came from. You'll see a little pie chart there, and it breaks out the savings for the energy conservation measures and the dollars associated with each one.
Oh, and there's the pie chart. Water conservation is number 1.
Lighting and water are your 2 biggies, and you're correct, Commissioner. Water is number 1.
Mostly at the prison.
Yes.
Impressive.
We saw Warden Carnes out in the foyer. We spoke to him. He's very pleased with what's going on over there, so that was good.
And if you take this to phase 3, so this will be the compilation and documentation of phase 2. So phase 3, which is what we underwent up to this point, that project is, I'll call it 100% complete, both at the correction facility and the remaining of the county buildings. What we're going through now is what I call the closeout phase, which is our O&M manuals, documentations, and as-builts. So we'll be handling that directly with JJ at the correction facility and with Steve Klein for the remaining of the facilities. What I will also be doing is working with them just to see if there's any warranty or issues that take place. I'll touch base with them monthly or every 3 months as time is needed. And before the 12-month warranty is up, usually around month 9, month 10, I'll get back in touch with Steve and JJ. So it's, as you know, sometimes something happens 2 weeks after a 12-month.
Yeah.
We'll try to talk about it prior to that, just to see if there's something that they can go around and do an inspection.
Okay.
And so,
Do you mind summarizing the main components of what phase 3 were, just as a reminder, the HVAC, prison, and so on, probation?
So if you talk all the county buildings, less the correction facility, 90% of that was all lighting. We changed it all to LED lighting. Then over at the probation building, that we went in and we upgraded and corrected mechanical issues. So for the most part, that was that. And then with the lighting was interior and exterior. Over at the correction facility, that was lighting. That was lighting. There were some small areas that still needed water conservation measures. So now the facility is 100% controlled with water conservation measures. And we did a lot of upgrades to mechanical equipment that was outdated, not performing, or we tried to update to code requirements. So that corrected quite a few of the old areas mechanically.
And it went pretty well. I mean, we had some hiccups. Bob and I are still friends.
Yeah.
So we had a little hiccup at the prison and then in the elevators here, but all that's been corrected. If you go by the prison, you know, that's, I think, the most obvious, noticeable change that we can see, because at night it's just really bright. You know, it's downward bright. It's not a.
It's
you know,
two things we had looking at the prison were, one is what do we do for energy efficiencies, and that was changed into LED. But there was some, I'll call it blind spot areas that they had some concerns with lighting levels, low lighting levels. So we understood that, listened to it, and we increased some of the lighting levels at different blind spots. But on a positive side, you know, on the county side, working with Jamie and his crew at the correction facility, that assisted us to get things done. Working with Steve and Miss Berry, is it
Sally?
Sally.
Yep.
With her, she was grateful to work with also, making sure we were able to get our team members in and out.
So a lot of what we accomplished through this, not only the energy savings, which is the primary driver of it, but we've been able to replace some capital equipment that was being deferred, honestly, until we could do it through the budget. And so being able to, you know, rather than have to do it out of pocket, out of general fund, we're able to do it through this, and it essentially covers the cost over time. So
Can you give examples, Jamie?
Yes.
Probation is a perfect example in the prison.
Yeah.
You know, the HVAC system at probation was shot. I mean, it was done. We were nursing that for the last 3 years. Thankfully, there were some parts available. We were able to do that, but you know, we would have been faced with a general fund capital cost to replace that. But folding it into this project allowed it to get replaced, and all the ductwork issues and so on got remedied. And then at the prison, there were still some rooftop units there that were original to the construction of the building, so those are close to 40 years old, and it was time to replace. And so, you know, the savings that those are going to generate over time.
And I think to piggyback with what Jamie indicates with the prison is, keep it at a high level, simple understanding is, you have existing equipment up on the roof that also had pieces of equipment inboard, like at the interior spaces. So there's two pieces of equipment. If you had an emergency, if we didn't do the project that was planned, if you had an emergency, a piece of unit broke down, you're either replacing something at the top or something at the bottom. By doing it in the method that we did prior to everything definitely breaking down, we're able to do it in the right manner. We removed anything that was on the interior for maintenance. Everything is up at the roof level now. So we were able to do proper planning, correct a lot of issues. You know, as everybody understands, on the correction facility, trying to get into spaces is not as easy. So on a maintenance side, taking everything up at the roof level is where you want to be. So I think with the right planning and rolling it into this project was a smart decision on the county side, rather than waiting to do capital dollars and having to do it on an emergency basis and not getting the best bang out of the buck.
And thanks to everyone who accomplished that goal. Thank you.
Cuts both ways. I always say, Commissioner, the best projects work when you get the best cooperation, and we always do here. I mean, we always have over the year. And Jamie said there's hiccups. There's always hiccups. It'd be naive to say there wouldn't be problems. But
Now if we can
it's
figure
how
out the
you deal with
windows.
them. Well, keep them on the back burner. We'll see. Absolutely.
Way back.
Absolutely.
It's always a phase 10, right? You never know when it comes in.
Phase 10, did you say?
Well, things change. The lighting was current 6 years ago, and look what the LEDs did.
Yeah, the
You know?
lights moves rapidly.
Things
I mean, the
change,
technology of lighting moves very, very quickly.
Cost comes down, the savings
Yeah.
go up. It's almost a no-brainer. Yeah. So it's
But
very good.
I'll keep Jamie and Dennis informed as we go through with the closeouts. And yeah, I'll stay in touch with JJ and with Steve.
Yeah, I also want to say thanks for doing the rebates. I mean, that's appreciated. When we do some of these changes, the utility companies offer rebates for installing this equipment, and we just have to say go. And,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and the Honeywell folks say, sign here, and the rebates are
They're
are
yours.
secured,
They're
so,
100%
yeah,
yours.
so there's no paperwork on our part, which is
Mhm.
really, we really appreciate, so. And Emil does a nice job, you know,
He's a good man,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, he's a good
Yeah.
man, thank you for noting that.
So, unless you have questions, I guess.
Anything with questions?
It's good.
Good.
It's good, thank you.
Appreciate
you.
it.
Enjoy your week.
It's always